So yeah, the false card you have for your past is the Five of Wands. I'm just looking at that. There's a little beam of light just behind the star. I don't know if you noticed that. I don't know where it's coming from. I just noticed that. Okay, beautiful. Anyway, I don't know what it is. Never seen that before in a reading. I don't know where it's coming from. Anyway, so yeah, so okay, it does. This reading does feel a little bit different. Something's making me hesitate when I do this, but I'm going to go ahead anyway. I don't care. I'm just going to do this. It feels like there's a spiritual aspect to this just before I start. I don't know why that is. And so, yeah, I had to say that. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm going to start and I'm going to do this for you. So, okay, so with the Five of Wands, it looks a bit like a play fight to me. That's what this looks like. It looks like children in the playground messing around. It's not serious, they're not swords. So it's not a serious fight here. And they do look young. They look like children. So I think that someone was playing with you. I think someone was playing with your emotions. Because I'm just getting this, what are we? Where are we? Are we friends? Are we together? Are we apart? Do we have a name? Do we have a label? Are we in a relationship? What is this? So lots and lots of blurred lines here, and you can see that in this card. Very, very confusing, blurred lines. We don't know where we are. There's no center point to this card. It's all a big mess. So lots and lots and lots of confusion. And I think you're with this person. I think maybe you finished with them a few times, or you tried to. It feels like a cycle, actually. And I think you knew this wasn't a healthy thing for you to be in. I think you knew that. Your head knew that, but I think your heart was with them. Your heart kept on trying to kind of go back there. And you kept on trying to find little hints from them that, they'd say things. It was like, maybe they do really care for me. So there was this on and off times. There's distancing here, because I think you really tried to keep a distance, but maybe your heart kept on being lured back in. That's what I'm seeing, and it's a very, very messy cycle. So I'm not sure exactly where you are right now. You might be out of this, you might be in this, you might be trying to get out. Some point in the cycle, it's hard for me to see that because you can see there's so much confusion in this card. But yeah, it's definitely a cycle. It's like, you'd go through these times where you'd think, right, that's it, I'm moving on, I'm getting out of this, getting off the roller coaster, no more. And then, someone would open up a conversation. I think sometimes it was them. I think a lot of the time it was them, actually. Sometimes it was you, but I'm seeing a lot coming from them. And, they'd start messaging or whatever, and then it'd start up again, and then you'd go back in again. And, I think maybe, because there's this confusion as to, are we friends? What are we? I think there were times when maybe they said to you, let's be friends, let's be friends, let's just be talking, and we're fine. And, I think maybe you said something to yourself like, that's fine, we can talk, we can be friends. I'm an adult, I can handle this, that's fine. But if you're talking to someone as a friend, and you've still got feelings for them, there's no way it can be a normal friendship. There's no way you can have a normal friendship if you've got feelings for someone. Now, I'm not saying exes can't be friends. Of course they can. Of course they can. If everyone's on the same page, if everyone is open to, if everyone's 100% knowing that they're just a friend, if no one has those feelings, if no one has that hope that, it might go back to something else again, then you can be friends. But if anyone has any of that, it's not a normal friendship. Because I think if you're in that kind of situation where you're like, yes, we're friends, but you're actually not, you're hoping for more, you're always going to be like, they haven't messaged me for a few days. And then you start to feel all stressed and unhappy and sad and all these kinds of things. And if it was just a friend, a genuine friend who just hadn't messaged you for a few days or whatever, you'd feel totally different about that. You might say, I miss them, what's happened? But you wouldn't be all up and down and stressed about it. So totally different situation, totally different. So yeah, I'm getting a bit of manipulation here, I have to say. It feels like they knew. It feels like they knew you still had feelings, and they would have to know that. They would have to know that. And they kept on contacting. This is what I'm getting. They kept on saying, oh, let's be friends. Oh, let's just talk. Oh, how are you? Happy birthday. Whatever excuse it is. And, I think you're at a distance now. I think you're at a distance now because you've got the High Priestess and she kind of sits there up high and she keeps her distance from everyone. So I think you are at that distance now. I think you still have a little bit of something invested in this, whether it's your head or your heart. It doesn't mean you want them. You might want them, you might not. Again, I can't tell. It's very, very confusing in this card. If you're at this stage where you still have a lot of feelings for this person, and if you're right in the middle of this, let's say, and you're thinking something like, oh, I really need to block them. I can't let this go on and on like this. But it might be that, you can't quite bring yourself to do that. So if that's you, if that's the stage you're in this cycle, firstly, just be kind to yourself. Firstly, be kind to yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't blame yourself. It's a really hard thing to get out of something like this. I mean, the devil card's not here, but it can almost be like an addiction, and you have to go cold turkey on them, and it feels like that. So firstly, be kind to yourself. Because I don't think they're being all that kind to you, especially if they know you've got feelings and they're trying to be friends and they're stringing you along. That's not kind. That's not kind behaviour. That's not a friend. That's not a friend. So give yourself time. If you're right in the middle of this, take things day by day. Maybe just think to yourself, well, I won't talk to them today. Let's see what happens tomorrow. I'll worry about that then. But right now, I'm not going to talk to them today. I'm going to get to the end of this day. I'm not going to talk to them. I'm going to fill my life with all different things. I'm going to do this and that. But what I'm not going to do is talk to them. And then you get over that day. And then the next day, you keep on going like that. And then if you keep on going like that, every day you'll get a little bit stronger. You'll get a little bit stronger and you'll get yourself back. And as the days and the weeks and months go on, if you can keep going like that, you'll be so strong and you won't get that pull. You won't feel that pull to go back to them. This is in the past, so hopefully you're over the worst of that. But it still feels quite confusing to me. So there's a little bit of that still going on in your life, I think, however that is, even if you're just thinking about it sometimes. It's something that's still there. A part of you still in this confusion. That's what I'm seeing. Okay, so the next card you have your past is the High Priestess, which I love this card. Very peaceful, very serene, beautiful card. She rises above. That's the thing about her. So again, you're trying to remove yourself. Maybe you have already. There is some removal from this. So you've removed yourself from this in some way. That's what I'm getting in that. Okay, so there's something quite big I'm getting in this card. Maybe that's why I was getting these feelings right at the start of this reading. Okay, so I'll try and explain this. Very difficult to explain. Now, this is a very, 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 very spiritual card. Very spiritual card. Pure spirituality. Now, if this is you, if you're a very spiritual person, and I'm getting this is for very spiritual people in this reading, it feels like you're coming into a much deeper spiritual time in your life. And it starts with a feeling. So if you're feeling like that, I'm feeling deep. I'm thinking of deep things. I'm thinking of what's behind this, and then what's behind that, and then what's behind that. So all of that kind of thing, if that makes sense. And there's a rejection of trivial things as well, a rejection of trivial talk. And I think with this time alone, it might be that partly as well. It's like this time alone. If you're alone right now, if you're in this lockdown or whatever, it's almost like this has been a gift to you so that you can explore the spiritual time. And I think maybe you might be thinking very deeply about this time that we're all in, this time that we're all going through. Why are we here? Why is this happening? What's behind this? What does it mean? What does it really mean? I'm being very careful of how I'm saying this, and I think you can tell that. So maybe that's why I was hesitating so much at the start, because this is coming up here. So let's just say you're one of the very, very deep thinkers, when it comes to yourself, when it comes to your spirituality, your place in the world. You're a questioner. You're a questioner. You're a questioner. And that comes from this deep spirituality that's inside you. And I think it's always been in you if this is you. We're born with that. We're born with that. And what we do with that is, we can either take that further, we can, develop that, we can go down a road, or we can try and repress that or push that down or suppress that. Is it the word suppress or repress? I can't remember. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. If this is you, you know exactly what this is all about. And, again, you're entering into this really deep, very, very deep spiritual realm. It's a lot deeper than you've been in your past. That's what I'm getting. So you're thinking very deeply. You're on a very, very important path. If this is you, this is about awakening. And again, with all this trivial talk that you're kind of rejecting, you might have some people around you. I'm seeing family here, maybe. I'm getting people saying things like, oh, I ordered this online. I ordered this dress. It was really nice. Oh, I had this for dinner. And you're like, well, that's great. And I think you're very polite to them. But you're thinking, well, actually, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about much deeper things. My head and my heart is really exploring here. Really exploring. And, obviously there's nothing wrong with small talk, but it feels like you had quite a low tolerance for that at this time. I don't think you said anything to these people, but that's how you were feeling. And I think as you keep on going on this path, you're going to feel like that. You're going to keep on feeling like that. You're going to really try and, or you're not going to try to, but I think you're naturally going to move away from any of that trivia. Excuse me. So I don't want to say much more about this, but everything that you're feeling, if this is you, it's all happening for a reason. A lot of people are going through awakenings right now, and sometimes this this quarantine or this separation or this time to everyone's self, it's a gift that's been given to a lot of people. So yeah, very, very special. I'm really hesitating because there are lots of things I'd like to say, but I can't. So yeah, very, very special process that you're going through. It doesn't always feel beautiful and special. Sometimes it can be very difficult, really difficult, but it's really worth going through. And right at the end of the spread, look at this, you've got the Hermit. So that's where you're heading. True enlightenment at the end. And that's all I'll say. I just hope it's getting to the right people, this message. But I'll talk about the Queen of Swords now as well. So as you keep on going through this process, again, you're going to get away from the trivial. You're going to put your sword up against things and against people as well. It's like a filtering process. I know that sounds horrible, but you're not getting rid of people totally, but you're going to gravitate toward the right people, and you're going to meet some new people as you go in this path who think like you. You're going to have some very deep, very interesting conversations, and that's what you're going to gravitate toward, those kinds of things. And you're going to kind of move away from the trivial talk, all of that kind of thing. Doesn't mean you're always going to have deep conversations. No one's like that all the time. But you're going to be, that's going to make you feel better, going toward that kind of thing, the deep. So yeah, very, very beautiful, very special path that you're on if this is you. So that's all I'll say about that. But very, very big, very important part of this reading for whoever this resonates with. Very, very beautiful. Okay, so the first card you have your present is the Six of Pentacles. Yeah, back down to earth with the Pentacles. Right back down with a big thump. So, okay, what I'm getting here is support. Someone needs support. I'm getting this feeling of someone needs your support. It might be someone you've supported in the past. It feels like a friend. It feels like a platonic relationship that you're having with someone. And it feels like there's someone maybe you're in touch with a lot, maybe every week, every few days or something. If there's someone who hasn't been in touch with you, who you used to be in contact with, and maybe they've just disappeared, maybe your mind's been on other things. If you're going through this spiritual thing, I can see why that is. If you haven't been in touch with them, if you haven't heard from this person, I would reach out to them if I were you, because it feels like they need you. And it feels like they're a really proud person, and there's some kind of money loss or job loss or something like that. It's some kind of money problem. With everything that's going on right now, a lot of people are losing their jobs. A lot of people are having money problems. Things more expensive. People are struggling. They're still having to pay their bills, even though they're getting less. people's businesses are closing, all that kind of thing. I don't have to tell you that. I don't want to go through all that negativity. But, they're not the kind of person who'd reach out to you. That's what I'm getting. And the thing is, just looking at this card, I can see, you can see that there's an exchange of money here. But I don't think that's what they're looking for. They're not looking to borrow money or anything like that. So don't worry about that. I think you've had a lot of people ask you that in the past, and you're quite wary of that thing happening again. It's not that. They're not asking you for money. It's just they need some kind of support because of a money problem. That's what I'm getting with that person. So if you know who that is, I would reach out to them, because it feels like they're proud. It feels like they wouldn't reach out to you, and that's why they've gone quiet. So if that resonates, please reach out to this person. They really need someone to talk to. And okay, so just looking down at all these three cards, I was getting this manipulation with this Axe-Love connection in the Five of Wands. Lots of confusion, all that kind of thing. And this card can be about that. It can be about confusion. It can be about manipulation. It can be about unfairness. In an exchange. It could be about relationship unfairness. So I think that's coming up again here, and it's right next to the Five of Wands again. And you've got the Emperor looking down. You've got the Emperor who's on guard. He's got his suit of armor on. He's guarding against this happening. And then under the Emperor, you've got the Page of Cups. And that can be about, messages coming in, love messages, funny, silly messages, light-hearted things. Oh, let's just be friends, it's fine. All of that kind of thing. So this is the exact cycle I was seeing. A little message coming in. Oh, let's just be friends. Let's talk. How have you been? Oh, I just care about you. I just wonder how you've been. Just thinking about you. All that kind of thing. That's how it starts. So, yeah, the Emperor's telling you, be on guard. Watch out for a message that's coming in. Whatever you do, try not to fall back into that cycle again. And, just look at the difference between the Emperor and this page. They're the complete opposites. And I think if you came out, because the Emperor's like this, he asks the hard questions. He's not afraid to ask. He's not afraid of people not liking him. So let's say if you took that stance and they came and spoke to you again. They came in with this message like this page, and let's say if you said to them, why are you playing with me? Why are you manipulating me? Why are you treating me like this? I don't think it's fair. I don't like this. I want to ask you these hard questions. Let's say you did that. Because I don't think you've asked those questions of them, if this is you. I think you get into this lull of, oh, let's be nice, let's be friends. And your feelings take over. You're not hard-headed when it comes to this person. Your feelings take over and you think, oh, okay, let's just talk to them again. Maybe they missed me, and you start feeling good that the fact that maybe they've missed you. And you get lulled into this again without really thinking. It's almost like being hypnotized. It's almost like being hypnotized. And, if you ask these hard questions, let's say, I think they probably run away again. They might even ghost you for a while. And then what's happened is you'd miss them and you go, oh, they ghosted me. I feel really upset again. And then they'd come back again. And then you'd feel like, oh, they did miss me. And then there's this endless cycle that happens again. So if you're off this cycle, if you're off this roller coaster, whatever you do, stay off. That's what this Emperor's telling you. Look at the way he's looking at you. He's really strict. He's really forceful. He's saying, do not do this. And he puts the rules down. He puts the rules down. He's telling you this. You deserve so much better than this. Do not get back on this roller coaster again. If you're ever tempted to go back, think about this Emperor's face. Look at how serious. He's angry with you. Look at that. So, and again, you're on this amazing spiritual path, or you're heading toward this, if that resonated with you. And when you're on that path, you don't want to fill your head with this, oh, do they miss me? What are they thinking? Are they with someone else? Are they thinking about me? Your head's in that cycle. You want to get out of that negative, destructive cycle and onto this path. This is the path of enlightenment. This is the path of what's good for you. That cycle is not good for you. And look at this literally. Look at this literally. Look at the way this page is. It looks really silly. You can't take him seriously. You don't want to take this clown with you to where you're going. I know that sounds horrible, but I just want you to move forward. I just want you to move forward. I want you to move out of this negative cycle. And that's what this Emperor's telling you. And he's right in the center of this whole reading. He's the center point to this reading. Do not go back into that. Go forwards, because what's right at the very end of this is the Hermit. Do not go back into this cycle. Go forwards into this spiritual path. That's what this is telling you. Okay, so we'll go to your future now. So the first card you have your future is the Two of Wands. Okay, this feels totally different now. Completely different. This is a completely different thing. I'm getting this feeling of pushing. You have to push. You have to push. Yeah, you're going to have to push for something. You're going to have to push for something. You're going to have to be really assertive. That's what I'm seeing. And yeah, there's money here. There's money around this. It's interesting because this is right next to the Six of Pentacles. So there's money here. There's some kind of a situation that's not right that you need to put right. You need to make the balance, tip the scales in the right direction. Because I'm just looking at these scales here and they're slightly tipped. You need to even them up. That's what I'm seeing. And you need to be assertive to be able to do this. So yeah, there's a form. There's a form here, a form that's been filled out. It feels like someone owes you. I don't think it's a person. It feels like it's an institution or a company. It might be a payment for something. It might be something like that. And just looking down at this King of Pentacles, it might be some kind of an assessment. It might be a government assessment or something like that, because it feels official. And I keep on seeing forms. And so maybe someone assessed you wrongly, and they think you're a bit like the King of Pentacles. They think you've got more than you actually have. So if you've missed out on something, if say you filled out a form and you've come back, been rejected or something like that, and you know it's wrong, go after this again. Do something about this, because I think if you go through this again, I know it's horrible going through these kinds of processes. I hate things like that myself. But I think you'll be successful if you go through this again. Try this again, and I think you'll get this actually. I think you'll get this if you go through it again. Point out everything where they've been wrong. Really go through things in point form. That's what I'm seeing. Point A, point B. This is the fact. This is the fact. This is the fact. I think that's the way you're going to get through this. And pushing. I keep on seeing this need for you to be assertive. So pushing it. So it might be that you'll have to make lots of phone calls. You'll have to follow up on things. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it if you do this. Yeah, this reading keeps on going from earth to spiritual, up and down, up and down. Very strange. Anyway,